Welcome back. Happy New Year to everyone. Just starting to get stuck in on a few little jobs again now. We've got a big parts order coming for the van this week, so a lot of stuff, it's going to come together really quick now. So I'll give you a look at what's happened over the Christmas holidays and stuff. So in here is the roof. That's all sanded down. It's actually in really good condition. Got a couple of little small screw holes to fill along the side, and have to remove that aerial. The hatch trim was rusted around there, so that's taken off, but that's all sanded and everything, so it's just going a different shade of white. And back out here, I have just pulled all the wheels off. All those tyres have to be taken off and got rid of, and then we're going to get the rims all cleaned up, and I want to paint them the same colour as the roof. As for the van, as you can see, I've been throwing a few bits back on. Just got the handles and stuff painted. Dirty again now, but got them done. We got the windscreen in, got the windscreen out the van and braking because, well, like I said, we broke the other one. Grill back in. The window wipers, they need to come off and get painted, but the reason they're on there is the motor's stuck, and I was trying to, help it along, but it's not happening. Yeah, I'm just about to start stripping off the calipers and stuff. Sorry, it's dark now. There's actually just a big thunderstorm passing. Got that fitted properly. Same, had a look at the rear springs and stuff. It's all really good looking. Swing arms are nice and clean. So we're basically just doing a full brake overhaul on it. Track ends and everything look decent. Springs are all good. So we're putting in new discs, new wheel bearings. Hopefully the calipers are okay. If they need a rebuild, we'll rebuild them, and changing all the flexi lines, and we'll have a really good inspection of the metal lines, although they look in really good nick. It could do with a new boot there on the filler neck, and inside, yeah, nothing else much has happened. They have the panels ready to go, so once we get these window seals, we will get some windows in it. Insulation can go in, panels can go in. We're going to do that just in a black, and the same around it, because I think it's getting sound deadening all the way around the engine compartment. And we're waiting on things like door seals. Sliding door can't go on because we're waiting for new rollers for the hinges. And while all this is off, I gotta fit mud flaps and spray all the wheel arches with under body seal as well before the wheels are ready. So I've actually just cut a brake line there. Just gonna let that drip away, and I'm gonna get this caliper off. So, got all this stuff off. A few things I'm very happy about. A couple of things I'm not so happy about. But, yeah, things on this fan are just nice. Look at that. I didn't oil that. Sliders are all nice and free. And even the small pipes on the calipers look good. Now the only kind of, everything came off quite nicely. The only thing that's might be a problem, now I'm glad that the gaiters are still in good condition, but I haven't looked under them yet, and as you can see, the pads in this were well used whenever it was parked, and it was parked, what, 13, 14 years ago now. So looks promising enough. A bit dirty, but I don't see any rust on them. Anyway, we'll give those a proper looking over. I mean, the outsides look crusty as hell, but generally they're fairly robust. The other thing is the rear shoes are shot. And as for the drums, both rear wheel cylinders are leaking, so it's pretty wet inside both, but those are ordered anyway. We didn't order drums. This one And see, it's still got a bit of clean surface to it. I'm not mad fussy about the drums. They're kind of tend to be fairly robust, even though ours needs a new set because they're kind of starting to get a bit oval. But that's pretty bad in there. Now, if we had a way of machining them, that'd be alright, but I don't know. We'll work something out with them. We'll see what they want to do, but they're not the cheapest things. I think they're 60 quid a drum or something, and obviously they've just spent quite a lot of money on parts, so we'll see. Like that, mine are in use, but I'll be changing them, so maybe we'll do something with those for a while or something. The caliper should rebuild, pads are ordered, sliders and stuff are all good, discs are ordered, as are front wheel bearings. Should have got a set of back plates really, but they're intact, they're just a bit rough. And yeah, one thing we were told about this when we got it is that the back brakes didn't even have, there's no retainers in there. He told us that, all that stuff needed going over the day we bought the van, which obviously we were going to anyway, but yeah, everything else in there is intact. It's just those are missing for some reason, but it's all soaking wet. The cylinder's absolutely shot, probably seized anyway. So hopefully the pipes will come unattached from those relatively easy. And yeah, well, we're kind of ready for bits to arrive now. So I'd have a go at removing one of those tires the hard way. I hadn't actually tried that before with the car tire. Yeah, so when those come back from the tire centre with the tires off, we'll get them cleaned up and painted. Okay, a few days later again now, all the tires got taken off, got all the wheels primed, painted. That one's a pretty rough rim, but they've come up pretty nice, and they've got a nice new set of the I think they're the Wolfsburg caps for them, stainless ones, so they look really neat, and they're done in the same white as the roof, which we did the other day. That came out real nice as well. Much nicer with the white really. You can just 2 coats compared to that orange. But yeah, that's come up lovely. That roof was actually in really good condition. Just filled those couple little holes in the side, and there was 2 or 3 little marks on it, but they're all done. So they need to set up. Going to leave them kind of for about a week, so that paint hardens up properly before going for tires. Everything else is still pretty much the same. They've been putting in the sound deadening, and really we're just waiting for the stuff to come now. Oh, they ran all their wiring as well, or measured it out anyway, because they're going to put the heater, leisure battery, water tank under the seat, with a split charge relay going in under there, I think, and their power, all that stuff will be under that seat basically, because they have no side units, so kind of space is a bit of a premium. Okay, finally we have a big order of parts arrived here now, so we should have almost everything we need to completely finish everything really. So the main things I needed were, well, we needed window seals. We've got those there for the back and side window. There's a sliding window going in there, and we had to cut that seal when we took that out of another van. These seals, those windows weren't there before, so we've had to buy those. Rear brakes, we have wheel cylinder shoes, brake hoses, and spring kit. We've got window seal inserts, front brake pads, front brake discs. Wheel bearings will be here in a minute. Front brake hoses. We got the top seals for both doors and 2 scrubber seals just to replace the outer ones. We have gutter trims, And what else have we? Oh yeah, gutter trimming, mouldings. There's also Tech 7 there. There's a few tubes of that. That's for sealing down the roof. And there's a few cans of under seal here somewhere as well. Also have the mud flaps. Like them or hate them, you kind of need them around here. So the kind of goal at the moment is to give in there a little bit of a clean. I need to under seal all the wheel arches and then do the wheel bearings and brakes. Get all those set up, put the mud flaps on, and they've gone getting the tyres put on the rims this morning, so we'll have those back later today as well. Bit held up on the back brakes because when I was backing in here, pulled the handbrake, cracked the cable, and so now we're changing both handbrake cables as well. So we'll probably be waiting another few days for those, so I won't be able to get the back brakes assembled. Well, I might put the assemblies together, but I won't put the wheels and everything on. So that'll hold things up there a little bit. But I think the main goal for today is to get all these windows fitted. And I need to repair the bar that goes in here. One is kind of okay, the other one's fairly rotten. And currently I ran out of MIG wire and I ran out of cutting discs. So once those two things arrive, I'll repair the bottom of that bar, and then the scrubber seals and all that stuff can go in the door. So, lots to do. I better press on. First thing I'm doing here is just fitting all the seals into the van. Now you cut them to length to fit the van, not to fit the glass, because if you wrap them around the glass, cut them to length, when you put them in they'll be too short and they're hard to get right as it is. So I'm going to just check out that all these are long enough as well for the selected window before I go cutting anything. So I'm going to test fit all them first. I must say, fresh seals on fresh paint look quite nice. Okay, so we spent all day yesterday, all day, getting these couple of windows in. This one went okay, that one went okay. That one cost us several hours. Firstly, we tried fitting it a few times, spent too long at that, and realised that it just wasn't going to fit. So I had to then cut an extra 6mm or so out the back of it. Not sure why it's so tight. A little bit of paint damage, unfortunately. The heat of the grinding just bubbled it up a little. We'll have to touch that up after. But yeah, it's nice to get those in anyway. And as well, the sliding door one, that was also an issue because it had this tinted pane of glass before, and I had another sliding door that we took that one out of because that's actually a stamped pane. You know, it doesn't have these markings on that one. That's just glass some companies made for this, which won't pass tests apparently. So this pane of glass was about 1/2 inch wider, unfortunately. So we had to go and cut both sides of this as well and grind out the corners and all that. But it's in anyway, it's done. So today I am going to go ahead now and do a little bit on the brakes. We did get the arches under sealed. Just sprayed in a bit of that yesterday evening. Need to fix that little pipe there on the expansion tank. I'll replace those before we are done with this thing. But I'm going to do discs and wheel bearings. And I'm still short the handbrake cables. They have arrived, they're just not here. So yeah, and the other thing is they went to get the tyres yesterday morning and the tyres aren't in stock. So it'll be next week again now before those arrive. So I thought the handbrake cables would stop us putting the wheels on, but they've come really quickly. So yeah, I'll get this video done this week, and when the tyres and everything come next week, then there'll be another one when we get the van wheels on, van driven out of here, and the roof put on. But I'm going to have to wrap this one at some point, so I'll get these brakes done and we'll look back at it again then. Right, I've actually just got the back brakes completely done and the handbrake cables in. Just gave those drums a quick lick around inside with a flap disc, and that's actually improved them drastically, and wiped them out as well with some thinners. They're all done, new cylinders, full new spring kit, cleaned up the self-adjusters. If you're ever messing with those, you want to make sure the hold on a second now. So if you're ever messing with these back brakes, you just want to make sure that you take those self-adjusters out, clean them up, make sure that runs nice and free. You can wind it all the way in, and yeah, because that's probably one of the main bits you'll be reusing. It's worth buying the spring kits as well, actually, because they're relatively cheap, like €15 for them. So yeah, I also changed the brake line in there and the little retainer that goes onto it, and the new handbrake cables. The handbrake cables just push in to this socket here, so when you're removing them, you unhook them just there on the bottom of that arm lever. You can see where that's hooked on. And the older ones have a nylon fitting there. This is kind of a steel one, I think. So you just twist that until it comes out. I remember struggling with that on our one. And then the other end, there's one bolt in the bottom of this, just retaining it to the swing arm, and it just goes into the little two-way thing that goes onto the back of the handbrake up there underneath the floor. So they're quite easy to do. So yeah, I'm going to stick the drums on, and I'm going to wind those out till they're just about touching. They'll self-adjust after, but you want to adjust them close to where you want them in advance, because otherwise it'll never really take up the slack properly. Okay, so yesterday evening I just put some oil under the gaiters and the calipers, not to free them, just to soften any dirt that's in there, and I'll give them a wipe out, but I don't think I'm going to take the pistons out or anything. And managed to get both bleed nipples loose as well. They were fairly stuck in there, so I can get those cleaned up, painted up and stuff this morning, and I'll get the lines ran and the pads put into them, and then they're ready for it to go straight on. Oh, I forgot to mention the discs we had turned out to be the wrong ones, so I'm held up again on the brakes. But anyway, the other thing is just got my welding wire and cutting discs and some new tips. So I'm using 0.8 flux core wire, and just another box of discs. You can see what I need to sort out is this. So that one's not too bad, but the bottom of this one's completely gone, so I'm just going to make that up in sections. And then I need to weld on the two securing tabs that go on there as well, and paint them up. So I think that might be the first job I do today, and I can get a bit of paint on these and do another coat later, and they could be I can fit those tomorrow then, which means we can put the scrubber seals in and just kind of finish off those doors. Oh, that's the bumpers. Just got over them with a flat disc. I'm going to do some filler work on them. They're a little dented in around the support brackets, and there's a couple of holes as well. I'm going to weld a piece in there. There's a bit there behind the number plate. There's a few areas where they've gone thin. Another piece just there. So we'll get them sorted out and try and get them reasonably nice, and they'll get painted up as well. So yeah, that's where my day's going to start. I'm going to get this wire put in the welder and get that up and running again. Right, so now that I've welded this bracket here on for the third time, it's in the right place. That was the easy one. So this, I just made up a bottom section there out of a few little strips of light stainless. I figured it was just as handy to do it in a bit of stainless. So that whole base was kind of shook, but that should do the trick now. I'm just going to hang them up and give them a few coats of paint, and yeah, then we can get our doors put back together. So the story with the brakes was, when I pulled these discs off yesterday evening, I realised, well, I had thought these looked a little bit big as soon as I took them out of the box, but they are actually for up to 1986. Now, I could probably do something with carriers and calipers and stuff off the other van, but then I don't want to mix and match things like that because it'd be impossible to ever get the right pads and stuff for it again. So we've reordered the discs, and because they reordered the discs, I also told them to go ahead and order some new back plates. I forgot about the initial order, and I thought they were solid enough, just that the edge was bad. But once I got the disc off and had a look under there, it was actually pretty bad. So, and they failed the tests if those rot away. So I've seen better ones or worse ones than that pass tests, but may as well change them now while we have the opportunity. No point in leaving them there really. So while I'm waiting for the discs, I'm going to get this off, change that brake line. I'll probably hang the caliper in there somewhere and get it all hooked up, ready to go. Need to get new bleed nipples for the calipers as well. I managed to unthread the other ones yesterday, but yeah. Now that I've got those window things hung up and a bit of the first coat of paint on them, and I'm messing around here with making bits and pieces and welding, so I'm going to go ahead and patch up these bumpers. I don't know, will I get away with a few little plug welds in places? Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Okay, first I need a cup of coffee, feeling the need. Right. Okay, it's been a long day. Got a good lot of bits done though, so I'll show you those and then we'll get this finished up. So got those back plates off, that was a bit of a pain. Mud flaps fitted all around, just gave those a bit of a clean up and a bit of a dusting of matte black. It's still looking quite glossy, but it will be matte. Just also mud flaps, bit of stainless brackets, a few stainless brackets, bit to go there, and the same, I had to make a little bracket. I've actually sprayed black there, but just a little stainless steel bracket to tie that back to there. Those backplate screws can be good fun to get out. Kind of had to break away the back plates on these to get rid of it. And as for bumpers, got them welded up, ground down, skim of filler. Real quick job, just kind of went over them with the belt sander and another skim of filler, and then just finished them off with the little orbital. I'm not going to spend a massive amount of time on them. They look pretty good really, and going to just put a bit of that single pack primer on there. And tomorrow I'm going to just give them a coat of that matte or satin black tough paint. It's the same stuff I've used on these, same stuff I use on the door handles and things, and it's pretty good stuff. Done the door handles on Howard's nearly a year ago, and they've all stayed really good. So quite impressed with that. I don't normally like aerosol cans at all. I just rolled on the cellulose primer. So yeah, that's those few bits. I will paint those tomorrow, and that'll be another bit ready to go at the start of the week then. Okay, so I'll leave that there for now. The disc should be here start of the week, as well as the other bits and pieces, tires, all that. So next week we'll be able to get the van out of the shed and put the roof on, and it'll be back in here, so we'll get a proper look at it. And yeah, it's all going to start coming together. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Cheers.